Welcome back to Persona Q Shadow of the Labyrinth, and thankfully, meeting up with the Persona 4 party does not get rid of this base scene, nice. Anyway, last time we explored a bit more of the first stop of the group Date Cafe, and also discovered a new side quest, which we'll be going into later, but for now I just want to... I unloaded all my items last time, didn't I? Okay, yes, I did unload all my items last time, but do I have any? No, I don't have any more of this. I'll buy one more of them. In fact, we're getting to the point where it's absolutely vital that you have at least one of these at all times. Actually, can I check something? We're close to getting... Okay, we need 2 more of those, and then we can get a soul drop. Funny thing was, in my practice playthrough, I rushed this dungeon so much that I actually never got enough items to make that, ever. So I was down a fairly cheap SP regeneration item. But anyway... I guess I'll do Nurse's Office last. There is one fusion, well actually a couple of fusions I can do at the Velvet Room. Let me just quickly check something. You're a bit too expensive for me to get out of the compendium. Because I actually can fuse Yatagarasu with a pretty decent spread here. It will require me to give up this persona, but I haven't really been using you that much anyway. Actually, I have been using you in Akihiko a little bit. But it's either that or I make High Pixie. High Pixie is only a little bit more SP for a lot less HP, so maybe I should just remake Yatagarasu. I guess I'll do that. Yatagarasu, the remake. That would probably horrify Yu-Gi-Oh! Players. Anyway, I suppose I can go for... Oh, hey, I can pass down and resist ice. That's not bad. Pulimpa... I can get 2 buffs on you, or I can go for another magical attack. I kind of like having Raku Unda, so... I have a few other things with Tarakaja, though. Mucka Jam's not bad. Binds are always decent to have. And I've already fused Yatagarasu before, but making another one... Because I think that this is actually pretty decent. Wow, a lot of my potential fusion results disappeared. I didn't see you... Yep, I knew it. You require Yatagarasu, because I didn't see you in the list before. I don't really want to give up you or Oberon. I want to wait until at least Yatagarasu learns Lethargy Circle, because like I've said, I really do want Lethargy Circle going forward. Lethargy Circle is just an insanely good move overall. Now I need to go back here and heal. I probably should be healing at the nurse's office at the end of every part, but now I have an excuse to visit this place, because now I can accept a new request. Legendary Medicine.
Are you...
And this is a side quest that I've been alluding to for a while.
This quest is...
A nurse whose responsibility is not to get medicine... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. If you didn't know that a nurse's responsibility was to collect medicine, how have you been healing us this whole time? Yeah, I guess she's summoning her level 99 pixie that just Diarahans all the time. Yeah, that's kind of a thing that can happen in her optional boss fight in 3, but anyway. So we need a snake skin.
It may be good for you to hear what Theo has to say.
Funny that you're still calling him foolish, even though he seems to know his stuff when it comes to this. So, this quest is our introduction to a mechanic that, surprise, surprise, is yet another carryover from Etrian Odyssey.
Welcome. Leave it to me. That is true.
So obviously, he's talking about the lustful snake. That's the only snake shadow we've seen so far. So, what this means is that we need to defeat the lustful snake while it's agility bound in order for it to drop this. This is our introduction to conditional drops. Like I said, this is another Etrian Odyssey mechanic, but it's a gameplay mechanic that I wish was in more RPGs, because it's actually really cool, and it's, in my opinion, a much better system than just randomly having enemies drop things. So yeah, we need to defeat the lustful snake while it's agility bound, and if we do so, it's guaranteed to drop the snake skin. So next time we go into the labyrinth, we're going to have to equip a persona that has that has Scarecrow at least. So who are we going to use in terms of our party? Because now we have quite a few more people who are level 13. Haven't actually used him before, so let's put you in the party, and I might as well put your quote-unquote partner in here. As for who else, I should probably focus on people who are lower leveled, so I guess I'll bring Junpei and well, Junpei and Mitsuru are my only options for lower level characters here. So with that, this time I'll keep Fuka on support for now. This time I'll make sure to actually equip sub-personas this time, because I was an idiot last time. Now, resist fire, may as well give that to Mitsuru, even though I'm pretty sure there's nothing here that uses fire, though I could be wrong about that. But I'll give that to Mitsuru. Now, yeah, Yosuke is normally good with status, but only if you give him an item to swap his magic and luck, or another good stat with luck, so I think I'm going to keep you with... Actually, no, let's put Incubus back on you, because you're the one who's the fastest and has the most luck out of us. I'll leave Use Persona for last, because he can pretty much do anything. I suppose we can go with Yakusini. I do want to be leveling up Yatagarasu. It's a little bit redundant with Yosuke, because Yosuke already has wind attacks, but he doesn't have a spread move wind attack. And Yosuke with Lethargy Circle is kind of nice, and you can take either Phoenix or... I suppose you can take Archangel. Archangel. I don't know, I'm not really sure how it's officially meant to be pronounced. But anyway, do I have any equipment that I can swap around? The answer is actually quite a lot, so I've gone ahead and equipped the Life Belt on Junpei, Vigor Fobs for these two, Growth 1 on Mitsuru, because, well, yeah, she's not really going to get that much use because she's not amazing in this game, and I put the Plum Potpourri back on Gary Stu, even though we won't actually see a difference just yet. Anyway, now it's time to head back into the... I have Disarm on someone, right? Okay, yeah, Scarecrow's on Incubus, good, I do have Agility Bind on someone, now we can head into the Labyrinth. You know, I just realized that clock there is, it's swinging back and forth. The minute hand's going around, but the hour hand isn't. Kind of interesting considering the clock tower here is running very slowly.
Careful.
Okay, back through the Selection Room of Destiny, but now it's time to head back to where we were last time. Kinda hoping one of those snakes shows up. But as I was saying, I really like the conditional drop mechanic.
There are 3 shadows.
Oh, it's not a snake.
Alright, let's make this quick.
Okay, this is weird. I have played this game several times. I never realized that if you're using a spread attack, it says Shadow Swarm as the target. I can't believe I never noticed that before. Okay, here's something useful about Yosuke. His amazing speed means that he can very easily revive people who've gone down.
Archangel!
Well, that solves the pronunciation debate.
Nice fighting, guys.
For some reason I thought that was the Persona 3 protagonist saying that for a second. But yeah, back to what I was saying about conditional drops. In a lot of RPGs, you just have... Yeah, you might notice they're kind of blocking off paths with spikes here. We can step on those spikes if we're not too concerned about taking SP damage, but there are ways to traverse this area without stepping on them. But yeah, as I was saying, there are a lot of,
3 shadows. Some of them are
okay,
unidentified.
that's new, Spurious Book.
The no good cherub.
This thing is weak to ice and darkness. I was hoping to continue my tangent about, or my opinions on conditional drops when I encountered a snake, but it doesn't seem like we're going to be fighting a snake anytime soon. So I guess I can talk about them now. In many RPGs, you have just, like, item drops are random. It's just pure luck whether you get the item that you want out of an enemy, whereas this system's kind of interesting. You'd think that, you know, like, maybe if you wanted to get the hide off of a particular beast, you would defeat it with a sword attack. Or, like, you know, other things like that. In this case, I like how they justify defeating it while it's agility bound, as you might damage the skin if the snake, you know, wriggles around too much. It's a really cool idea that I wish was in more RPGs, and it would add much more strategy to grinding for random item drops, as opposed to just, you know, hoping the enemy drops the item out of sheer luck. So yes, even though this is an Etrian Odyssey mechanic, and it's really only in a Persona spin-off because it's also a mechanical crossover with Etrian Odyssey, I still wish this would make it back into the mainline Persona games somehow, even though I kind of doubt it will. Unfortunately, Junpei's Frostlink didn't really do anything there because he attacked last in the turn. However, if I do this, you might see more of an effect from the Frostlink skill here. Oh, also Mitsuru can just boost with this thing. Probably should have been doing that from the first turn. Now, something to note about Link skills is that the additional hits from the Links, their damage is based off of the attack power of the one who used the Link, which means that Kanji's often use the Link skills because he can use Bestial Roar, or later in the game, the even better version of Bestial Roar, to drastically buff his attack power. Well, you just robbed Mitsuru of boost. That might have been a good tactic from you, trying to sabotage us getting the all-out attack.
We're all ready. Is it time for an all-out attack?
But we got it anyway! I know there are strategies in certain multiplayer games that involve killing people on your own side to prevent the enemies from getting benefits from killing them.
Did it!
Maybe the Shadows will learn those kind of tactics. But yeah, he can use Bestial Roar and have his really increased attack power, and then every Link skill will hit for that amount of power.
She's growing up too.
Speaking of power, also, actually, wait a minute, I think, yeah, Fuuka always seems to refer to her personas as female, despite the fact that a lot of them are male. Thing is, here, she's actually right. I think mythologically, the original Chimera was female, which is actually something that a certain cartoon show about ponies actually got right. You know, that show actually gets a lot about mythology right, but anyway. Orb of Power. I replaced Broadshot because I'm going to be using this persona purely for support, and that means I'm going to have to remake the QR code for you if people want to get the Orb of Power version of you. Let's see, there was a gap. Nope, I've already gone through everywhere. I can go on this floor.
Go me!
By floor, I mean area. Ah, this room. You have to come back to this room a bit later on for a side quest, and it's profoundly frustrating. Also, there's a kind of secret area here that you have to step on a lot of spikes in order to get through. This room is kind of a pain. It is the last major room before the end of this floor, even though it says we've only explored 65% of it. Okay, there's 4 spikes in a row there. And yeah, as you can see, these things like to double up on their range.
Careful. There's an FOE here.
So effectively, there are 2 places that you can't go when you're dealing with these FOEs. The direction they're currently facing, and the direction that they're about to face. So at this point, I can't move up because the FOE right here is going to turn around and face that direction. But I also can't move directly into this range either. So these things are a pain to deal with sometimes. They effectively cover twice as much ground as you'd think. Oh, that was a spike, apparently. Sometimes it's hard to tell where the spikes are. And yes, I can't actually face downward, because if I did, I'd get shot by that FOE. This area of this floor, by the way, is usually the room that gives me the most trouble when it comes to the map completion chest. I really do not like this room. And you'll especially see why I do not like this room in a moment. So yeah, right here, I actually have no choice but to step on those spikes if I don't want to get shot, because they're going to be if I can't move forward, I can't move down, my only option is there. And, yeah, this area, now I can't, go that way, if I don't want to get shot. A lot of people have said that the music in this dungeon is really relaxing. I'd agree, it's pretty nice music. Okay, we've made a full circuit around the room. I think we now know where most of the spikes are. So now the tricky part. In fact, I mean, I think you're actually, technically speaking, not supposed to go into that area now. There's a side quest that forces you to go into that area, but I like clearing out that area right now, and in order to do so, here's the annoying part. It's incredibly difficult to get in there without getting shot by the FOEs.
I give up. I'm all out of energy.
Well, Junpei seems to have run out first, and we have been shot.
You've temporarily lost your sense
Okay,
of
I got
direction.
lucky there,
Please
and
be cautious.
pressing one direction moved me backward. Oh, I got lucky again. Now let's turn around, and they're not in line of sight yet. So yeah, I'm definitely going to have to leave here. As you can see, this entire area is all spikes. Probably best to fully zoom out the map here. Oh great, getting into an encounter under these conditions.
There are 3 shadows.
Well, thankfully it's not the snake.
Time to rock!
Okay, there we go. I'm just running from enemies here.
Leader, you look like you're exhausted. I'm worried.
Shall we get going?
So our reward for braving all
Don't
that.
you think there's something strange about that wall?
There's a one-way shortcut back there, but really
All right, it's a treasure box.
a treasure chest. And we get out of that Steel Trap Claw. This is actually our first instance of, you'll see that weapon is highlighted in yellow, which means it's a special one. These weapons, 1 power, but a very high chance of inflicting a status ailment. Now, I think I remember reading the wiki on this. I need to look back to see if I'm right. Okay, so the first ailment icon gives you a 6% chance of inflicting that ailment with your basic attacks, and every subsequent icon gives an extra 3%. So that's 1 6% and 9 3%. So that's 27 plus 6. That would be a 33% chance, or a 1 in 3 chance of inflicting agility bind with every basic physical attack. Which is not that bad, especially seeing as Teddy kind of sucks at, well, pretty much everything. But his physical attack sucks, so when you've got nothing better to do with your turn, just having a 33% chance of inflicting agility bind on an enemy just by hitting them is kind of nice. And these weapons are particularly useful on characters like Yukari and, well, Teddy, who their physical attacks suck anyway, so again, when you have nothing better to do with your turn, might as well spend it on a 33% chance of inflicting a status.
Careful. There's an FOE here.
From what I've heard, and I have kind of talked about this earlier, but from what I've heard, these weapons... Oh, I forgot about the second one.
Oh no! You can't seem to move straight.
Okay, good, that wore off. But from what I've heard, these weapons are a lot less useful in the actual Etrian Odyssey games, because in those games, the attack power of your physical skills is based off of your actual physical weapons.
Shall we go then?
So equipping a weapon with 1 power would drastically reduce your damage of your basic physical skills. Of course, in Persona games, since your actual physical skills are based off of your actual persona doing the attack, and not the person themselves, then having a weapon with 1 power is not going to give those skills at all.
Oh!
Well, it's not like Yukari hits all the time in her home game. She's pretty infamous for having one of her voice clips be "I won't miss" and then missing off, and bows have pretty low accuracy in that game too, but that's to compensate for the fact that they don't make you fall down when you miss an attack.
What did you say?
You know, to be honest, that's kind of true.
Huh?
Well, we don't actually have to do that. Well, firstly, there's no thief's class or stealing mechanics in this game, but secondly, we can find one of their arrows without needing to fight them.
You. Stop! No!
Yeah, somehow Theodore is a mind reader, so we have a new request. And yeah, this is the request I was talking about when I say that they kind of expect you to explore that room of spikes. I'm pretty sure I missed a spike there, actually. When they expect you to explore that room later for a side quest.
There's something odd about that wall up ahead.
Aha! We have the next selection room of Destiny, too. So I'm going to mark that in yellow, but first we're going to activate the shortcut. Come on, Snake, you know you want to show up. I think they're more common earlier in the floor.
There are 3
Well,
shadows.
there's a snake.
I've got this!
And speaking of Snake, that is the Snake Glare skill kicking in. Cancelling preemptive strikes is an invaluable asset, especially later on. Especially in the third dungeon. I said especially twice, but I want to make it especially clear that you really, really want to make sure you have that skill by the third dungeon, otherwise you will die. So I need to make sure that I get the agility bind on this enemy. Yeah, doing a fight with all of our SP apart from our sub-persona pool down is gonna probably end badly, but I really want to fulfill this side quest, because then we can turn it in and immediately pick up the next side quest. The Theodore one. Okay, there we go, got the agility bind. Now we just have to kill that thing before the agility bind wears off. But yeah, I wish more games would use a system like this conditional drops. It's so much better than just randomly getting drops based on nothing but luck. I know that some games have mechanics that let you increase the random drop rates of enemies, and by that I mean not just skills that are like Lucky Lucky and Kingdom Hearts, that just like increases random drop rates slightly. In fact, there are skills in this game that do that too. But I mean skills like, I know that there are certain games that have like different methods of fighting that boost your chances of getting drops, or like in The World Ends With You. Also, you didn't use your persona too much, you stepped on spikes too much. But like in how in The World Ends With You, how you can raise the drop rates of enemies by lowering your own level. I always thought that was a cool mechanic. I think you're weak to that too. Yes, you are, and you were still agility bound, so hopefully.
I hope you'll lead us well.
There we go, we got the snake skin and also a lot of other items. So conditional drops are highlighted in yellow. So if you get one of those, you know you've got a conditional drop. From now on, the game won't be hinting at conditional drops from enemies unless they're part of a side quest. But from now on, if I encounter an enemy that does have a conditional drop,
energy low?
while I'm here I
Why
might as
don't
well
you
step
head
on the
back for
spikes
now?
because we were out of SP. But from now on, when I'll be encountering an enemy that has a
you okay?
conditional drop,
It looks like you're exhausted.
I'll be talking about it. So the next enemy with a conditional drop is not until much later in this dungeon. Anyway, it's time for Selection Room of Destiny number 2.
Here I come.
And time to explain something major about the Destined Partner system.
This again. Does that weird guy have more to say?
Well, hello. I heard you talking about me, so here I am.
I love this voice.
Well, hello. Indeed.
After much anguish, you succeeded in breaking through the first room, but your path seems as though it might be endless. Yet the choice that determines your destiny is approaching quickly. And so, here is your long-awaited question number 2. What's your idea of a good time together?
So question 1 already subdivided the characters by gender. Question 2 further narrows them down. If they didn't do this, it would be possible to not get the question for the character you want to show up at all. But if you answer this question incorrectly, you might end up without the character you want showing up at all, so that is definitely, can be annoying if you're playing this blind. So if you chose the girls for the last question, here you have the choice of outdoors, which will narrow it down to Aigis, Chie, Elizabeth, Mitsuru, Yukari, and Rise, or indoors, which will narrow it down to Rei, Naoto, Yukiko, Margaret, Fuka, or Marie. If you went with the guys with the last question, you get a different choice here. Do you want the person to make a bold move on you or a modest move? Bold will narrow it down to the Persona 4 protagonists, Ken, Koromaru, Junpei, Teddy, and Akihiko, and modest narrows it down to Theodore, Kanji, Shinjiro, Yosuke, the Persona 3 protagonist, and Zen. Yes, Zen and Rei are in fact individual options for this, but I mean, I haven't actually seen all of them, but I really don't see why anyone would go for Rei, considering how obviously she's shipped with Zen. But anyway, for the person that I'm going for here, I'm going to choose outdoors, even though me personally, I definitely would say indoors for this question.
Are you absolutely sure?
Oh, we think alike, don't we? Are we getting closer to our destined partners? Are we?
Now there's no need to worry, my kitty cat. No matter who's chosen, I'm everyone's.
The door's open. Let's hurry on.
Won't you at least let me finish?
Well, with how It's funny. It's really satisfying to see Teddy get owned all the time in this game, considering how horribly flanderized he is, but I do feel bad for people who liked him in Persona 4. He did have a lot of legitimately good moments in Persona 4, but in this game, he's just like... just a terrible character incarnate. So the reason why I wanted to go through here before I left the labyrinth to heal my SP... is because next time we come back, we actually have easier access to where we need to go by starting from the entrance. Because that locked door is now about to open.
Hey, do you think power spots emit negative ions or something?
The way this dungeon works is there'll always be a locked door on every floor, and the locked door will only open after we've answered all of the Destined Partner questions on that floor. You know I have a safely gather from power spots persona, don't I? Yeah, safety prayer. So I can switch over to that while I'm doing this. And now I can switch back again. I think the Chimera was the offspring of a particular god in Greek mythology. Was it the offspring of Typhon or something?
I call BS on that wall. It takes more than that to fool me.
So even though we are right at this locked door, do not go into this fight without any SP. Yes, there is an enemy ambush through that door, and it's a particularly brutal one. So you want to make sure that you're fully prepared before you go in there. So I'm definitely going to heal before I do that. Yeah, this is that terrifying group of enemies that I was alluding to when I started this floor. But before we do anything else, let's heal at the nurse's office and turn in that side quest. Getting a little more expensive to heal. Before I turn in the side quest, I want to show something. I explained this before, but I just want to demonstrate it. So if you go into Theodore's shop with an item that you need for a request, he will warn you not to sell it. So I'm glad the game does that. You know what? Someone actually pointed out in the comments how Elizabeth warned you to turn in the side quest for fusing that persona before you fuse that persona away. That's actually the only fusion-related request in this entire game. I didn't really realize that at the time, but it actually is. So let's report this one before taking the other one. I should actually mention something. It is possible to accept this side quest after you... It is possible to obtain a snake skin before you've accepted this side quest if you just happen to defeat a snake while you're agility bound. And that would have made it more efficient to complete, but you do lose out on a lot of dialogue. You basically don't get the explanation from Theodore on how conditional drops work if you've got the snake skin already. So that's why I intentionally avoided using agility bind on those snakes until now.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Well, Gary Sue's no stranger to this, so yes, definitely
I
yes.
wouldn't be so sure about that.
Actually, this kind of reminds me of the death of Confidant in Persona 5.
This will be your reward.
Oh no, please tell me you're not going to use it on Theodore. You're going to use it on Theodore, aren't you? Speaking of Theodore, we get a key item, the promotion ticket, out of that. Actually gonna have to check if I'm leveled up out of that. I'll explain what the promotion ticket does once I show it in my inventory. For now, let's do this request. I'd recommend doing this now because the item that you get out of it is a weapon that's not gonna get outclassed for quite a while.
Actually,
Is something the matter?
So she has a built-in Call Theo button.
What is it?
This kind of reminds me of a thing they did at one point in Friends where one of the characters gets promoted and he has a secretary and he presses the button to call her in and he's like, thank you so much for that will be all. Last time I do that today, I promise.
I see.
So, we've already seen... So yeah, this is what everyone was talking about before, if we could somehow obtain one of those FOE's arrows. So what Theodore
Too long.
wants here... Elizabeth saying that kind of reminded me of all the translation issues translators sometimes have. You can say a lot more in Japanese in a short space than you can in English in the same amount of space. So Theodore actually wants the arrow that flies the furthest, shot by an FOE in the group Date Cafe Spot 1.
What do you think?
Theo.
Yes.
However,
Hello.
we just happen to have a robot with us. She probably has a built-in calculator. And since she uses her own, like, gun weapon, she probably has some kind of ballistics programming in her anyway.
I see.
So this is the
Roger
first
that.
of many... Wow, nice. I like how Igus just says random sayings sometimes, in a completely robotic voice.
I will be counting on you.
So as I was saying, we need to find the FOE whose arrow flies the furthest in the group Date Cafe. Now, I forgot to actually mark the specific locations of the FOEs when I was in there last time, but you can probably tell, because I was explaining about this room before, that we needed to come back to this room. Well, let's see. The FOE here, the maximum distance it can shoot is 3 squares. The ones here can shoot, this one right here can shoot 4 squares, however, the one right here can shoot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares. So that is the furthest flying arrow, and that's the one that we need to get. I'll explain more about how this works once we get back in there. But this is the start of several side quests in this game that require you to bring a specific party member. So in this case, we actually need to bring Igus. And yeah, some people actually did level up out of that. Not a lot of Persona 4 characters though, just Igus, and unfortunately she's the one person we need to bring here. Well, yeah, Yosuke gets kicked out because he's Yosuke, sadly. Let's just go ahead and for now, I'm just going to equip Igus with, Nada Taishi, I suppose. You know, I wonder if I should actually try opening that door this time. I guess I should for efficiency's sake, but the fight on the other side of that door is an absolute pain. However, it is weak to electricity, so as long as I've got Mazio with me, and I believe Hummer as well. Actually, if I am going to be doing that in this visit to the labyrinth, I need to go into the workshop and I need to buy something, because there's something that you should really, really have before you do this fight. Let's go ahead and now we can sell our items, now that we've got rid of the snake skin. And we can buy quite a few things, some better armor for Koromaru, but what we really want to buy is, do you sell them is the question. Yes, you do. Patra Gems. We need Patra Gems. Right now, absolutely need Patra Gems. And you'll soon find out why we need Patra Gems. Actually, while we're at it, let's go ahead and switch Igus to the front of the formation. The Persona 4 protagonist can really go anywhere in the party. But, let's go ahead and save and head on in. We've got a mission to complete and a very dangerous batch of enemies to slay. I forgot to buy Goho M. See people, this is why I like to buy multiples of them. But you might notice something here. Goho M used to cost 100 yen. This used to cost 50 yen. I actually forgot to mention that before, but now we're seeing the direct effects of it. The item that we got out of that request, let's check it out in our key items. The promotion tickets, this gives you a 10% discount at Theodore's shop, and that is permanent. So we now have a 10% discount anytime we next shop there. Now we can actually access that door pretty quickly from the very beginning, so I might as well not cut out anything here.
Are your preparations complete?
So, when you enter a party member specific request and you've got that party member with you, they'll usually explain the quest when you go into the labyrinth. I know exactly where to go though. A lot of these party member specific quests make sense, but there's one later in this labyrinth that I think really doesn't. It's, in my opinion, one of the most pointless quests in the whole game. But anyway, Before we do that, since we're going to be stepping on a lot of spikes and reducing our SP in order to get that far-flying arrow, let's do this first. Oh boy, this is the most painful trial of love ever. Actually, no. Sonic 06 exists. Yeah, that's worse.
Leader,
When it says ominous presence, it's right, and I love the text here. The ordeal of love begins.
strong enemies. I'm lacking combat data for them.
Ready for orders.
5 idle basalts. This is an enemy that won't show up until the later floors of this dungeon, and oh boy is this a brutal enemy. For one main reason, you'll be seeing that later, but it does have the exact same weaknesses as the basalt we're currently encountering, so it's weak to electricity and light. But there is 5 of them, and you might want to use Tentarafu because they have a particularly vicious skill that you really don't want to get hit by here. In fact, let's actually go ahead and have Igus... Actually, no, Safeguard only guards one person. I might as well guard the, I'm actually going to guard Mitsuru because she has both of their weaknesses. Alright, you're going to actually just start using Death Counter. You're going to just use an electrical attack, and Mitsuru's going to go for... I guess you can go for Mazio. I probably should have used Orb of Power, too.
Radiant.
But you might end up seeing just why these things are so bad in a moment. Okay, got 3 of them at least. So as you can see, they hit pretty hard. These are very strong enemies for this point in the game. Wow, that was with Swordbreaker, by the way. Remember though, this is hard mode. This is by far the worst thing about these enemies. They can petrify you. Petrification is not a status that exists in the main Persona games, and petrification, like most RPGs that it appears in, is absolutely awful. So, characters who are petrified are...
Your hero has arrived.
Oh hey,
Here
you've got a
I
follow-up
go.
attack. I think I've already seen this on load.
Whoa, it's a tough one.
Something that I should mention is that follow-up attacks have unique dialogue
Igus
if
is
a character...
petrified. Can someone heal her?
If a character actually kills the last enemy with a follow-up attack. What I was saying is, characters who are petrified are essentially dead. They can't act, they don't get experience in battle if you win a battle with them petrified, and if your entire party is petrified, it's a game over. Petrification also persists outside of battle. This is why I wanted to bring Patra Gems, because at this point in the game, that's the only way we had to cure petrification. So, we're going to, might as well go ahead and have Junpei cure. I guess it's not like he has that much that's better for him to do. I should probably try and hammer one of the ones that's still up and kicking. Though I probably should have healed Gary Stu as well. One thing I was saying before I got interrupted, I'm not sure if the increased, damage from enemies on hard mode also applies to enemies attacking each other. I'm guessing it doesn't, because I think it's just you take 20% more damage and enemies take 20% less. Okay, good, they're all panicked. You do take a lot less physical damage. Yeah, I probably should have given Junpei a better weapon when I, used Death Chaser. I did not think this through.
Your hero has arrived.
And is that the exact same line that he said when he used a follow-up attack?
Someone please heal him.
How's your health? We can't afford for our leader to fall.
Well, this isn't risky mode, so you actually can. This isn't a regular Persona game, so you also can. Even more of them. In fact, let's go ahead and... I've got buffs, but no, let's go for Renewal Ray. And Tentarafu all of you. Single shots. Yeah, Frostlink doesn't seem to be affected by a physical weapon's power, but Death Chaser is, so I guess there is one downside of using those status element weapons. I should probably hammer something else while I'm at it. That's actually not going to be enough. Definitely want either Kanji or the Persona 4 protagonist in your party for this fight, because they can pretty much get consistent boost off of the enemies here.
What?
Oh, that's bad. That's really bad. Please hit a lot of them, Tentarafu. Well, it hit most of them but one. Well, Swordbreaker still protect yourself. Yeah.
Summoning
Definitely should have thought that through. I do like buying better physical weapons for the physical party members. I probably should have done that with Junpei. I forgot for a moment that Death Chaser was affected by... It's basically just a normal attack, so of course it's affected by a regular physical attack power. But anyway, we're still focusing on clearing out these enemies. You know, maybe I should just blow my entire support meter and just go for buffs here. So I really want to kill off these enemies quickly, for obvious reasons. Namely that these enemies suck. But, oh yeah, and by the way, one other bad thing about petrification is that guess what? It's entirely enemy only. You never get a persona that learns petrification skills. So, of course. Yep, yet another way that the AI is just like, oh, we got mechanics that you don't have access to. When usually Persona/SMT games are pretty good about giving the enemy access to all the same tools that you have. And usually mechanics that work for you also work the same way for them, and vice versa. But not so much in this game, because this seems to take more influence from Metroid. Oh, it is... Why is Aigis being a magnet for that? And she's already a robot. She's already made of metal. Why are you trying to make her made of rock? Well, Death Chaser wasn't really doing much, so I'm kind of glad with it wearing off.
Junpei-kun seriously hurt.
Feeling kind of lightheaded.
Well, good thing Garisu has Medea. This is the problem. Even though I know that Junpei will get healed enough in order to use these skills this turn, he can't because, yeah, he's not enough HP right now. But I can Tarukaja Mitsuru and kill off one of them. I guess I'll just spam Mazio for now. That can at least knock them down. If you somehow have Mahama by this point, Mahama is extremely good here. As are circle skills if you have any. Oh, Yosuke had Yatagarasu, so I'm not going to be leveling up Yatagarasu from this. Oh, they can also power charge, in addition to all the other ways that they're horrifically annoying. Yeah, these enemies are a pain, and you have to fight 5 of them at the end of this. This fight is probably harder than most, like, I'd actually argue this fight is harder than the Queen of Hearts. It's an absolute pain. Do not like this fight at all. And I'm really glad that it will soon be over, hopefully. Oh, I should probably cure Aika soon, because otherwise she won't get the experience from this fight. Then again, she is the highest level member of our party. Running a little low on SP on Garisu here. Another power charge. Oh, that would have been great if that had killed you. These things are very resistant to physical attacks. Yet they're resistant to both slash and pierce. Okay, we're almost done with this fight. And that one is looking on its last legs. I might as well go ahead and use a Patrick Gem on Aigis, but I'm not entirely sure if I'll get it off before the fight ends. But I can always use the Patrick Gem after the battle, because like I said, Aigis already is very over level compared to F1, so her missing out on the experience in this fight won't be that much of a big deal. And fight over.
The harder the battle, the greater the reward.
Yeah, you're telling me, Mitsuru. Oh, that fight is a pain. Yeah, we kinda have. Not you guys, though.
Huh.
Obviously, she has to counsel Akihiko on that all the time. So yeah, Aigis is still petrified even and now the battle is over. I feel like... I wonder if she'll still be able to participate in that side quest even if she's petrified. I probably should have tried that, but... For now... You know, I suppose we can explore this area and then come back for the arrow later, because there's not really that much of the dungeon left to go. There are still some spikes, though.
A treasure box.
Sadly, we had to actually walk through those in order to get this. Spiral Sword. Now that, I believe, is that for you, or is it... No, it's for you, okay. So this sword, this is going to drastically give my basic physical attacks, but this one has a 33% chance of panic. And considering how good panic is in this game, I really like giving that to Garisu, so... Glad to have that on him now.
We may be able to break through the wall ahead. Open fire.
The rings make an audible sparkling noise, which sounds kind of weird, but yeah, they make an audible sparkling noise when you're near them. Generally
No use.
speaking,
My
every
spirit is
single
broken.
type of shortcut in these labyrinths has an audio cue to it. So if you're not paying attention to the
We get to
walls, you
move
can
first.
usually still tell where shortcuts
Commencing
are. Also,
Leader,
you may have
you
noticed
okay?
that we had an
It looks
automatic
like you're
preemptive strike
exhausted.
against us in that last fight. Also, yeah, we're only 92% completed the floor, because now I have to go back and step on all the spikes. Yay. But yeah, you might notice we got an automatic preemptive strike for the enemies in that fight. So good thing we had Snake Glare, otherwise we could have all been petrified before we had a chance to move. You see why that fight is terrible?
Huh? That power spot has come back.
Yeah, let's not risk that lower on such low SP.
Leader, you look like you're exhausted.
Let's head on.
All right, let's go.
So here we are in the room. This is how this quest works. You need to check the arrow that's at the very far end of the FOE's firing range. For example, we can check here. However, this arrow's only traveled one space, so it's not
Searching.
viable for Theodore.
A disappointing result. As they say,
I probably, should have, I guess probably had more to say with that quote. But anyway.
Leader, are you okay?
Yeah,
It looks
Fuka, I
like
know.
you're
I'm
exhausted.
intentionally stepping on these spikes, though, because I need to. For map completion. Have I stepped on this one yet? Don't know. It's always hard to tell which spikes you've stepped on yet and which you haven't. But what we need to do here is... Firstly... We need to actually find this arrow, however, we can't actually go in here without getting
Leader?
shot.
Where are you going?
Okay, got lucky with that. Up turned out to be backwards. And now we can check the wall here.
Aegis, ready for battle. This is well done.
So, this is the one arrow on this floor that will work for this side quest. It's the other one that travels 6 spaces. And with that, yeah. This is going to be annoying. Now I need to check which spikes I've stepped on and which I haven't. Because I'm sure there's still some spikes in that room that I have not stepped on yet, but it's hard to tell. Because there aren't any walls in that middle portion. For now, though, I think I'm actually just going to leave now and reporting that side quest. Then I'll go back in and cover all of the spikes off camera. So this quest is not only worth a lot of experience, we also get a very good weapon
Well
out
done.
of it.
Please wait a moment.
Too long.
Reminds me of the
Excuse me.
message spell. Eh, that worked.
Sister? Thank you very much. This is... Leave it to me.
Fortunately, we don't have to actually wait.
I'm very confident about this piece.
I am too, it's actually pretty good.
I shall give this to you.
It's a weapon for Zen, obviously.
I bid you farewell.
Ah yes, the Velvet Attendants versus Shadows arms race.
I'm growing too, you know.
We seem to have leveled up more from the side quest than from the actual enemies in this floor.
Not bad at all.
And you automatically upgrade your Zeo, so now it's more expensive for you to get witnesses. Even more so for Yukari, because she has no access to a physical. So anyway, let's go ahead and check out our new weapon for Zen. The Theodore number 3 is pretty decently powerful and it has a chance of panic, without having lower attack power, so yeah, pretty cool. Let's go ahead and equip that on him. And I guess we can sell our stuff from that last adventure.
Thank you.
I can make a couple of new weapons out of that too. While I'm here... Oh, I think I should wait for the Paralysis Blade. Annoyingly, that one snake skin got consumed by that side quest, so I wasn't able to use it to make this. I probably should wait for the Paralysis Blade, actually. Or the two-handed sword. However, Akihiko, who has Death Counter, he can go ahead and take a much better weapon. I may as well buy a better weapon for Kanji too while I'm here. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to off-camera step on all of the spike tiles. Thankfully, the later floors don't get anywhere near this annoying when it comes to map completion. Oh boy, this is going to take a while.
I am about to forward march.
Nice line
Watch
timing
out for
there.
that FOE!
That's it. I'm out of energy. There's nothing left. You're welcome.
This is why getting these squares is really bad. Because it's easy to get stuck in a loop.
Where are you going?
Also, I've now desynced the FOEs. There we go.
This is bad. I'm about to drop.
Okay, so, for braving all of those spikes, we get... Lightning Gloves. An item that has sadly been very, very nerfed since Persona 3. In that game, it made you immune to electricity, which would have been great because we've got a protagonist who's stuck with Orpheus and thus permanently weak to electric. In this game, it has a chance of negating electric damage, it's not guaranteed. All that work for an item that's been nerfed. This is kind of the running theme of the chests on this floor, by the way. They're all elemental resist items, or elemental immunity items, but not reliable elemental immunity items, because, you know, why would they give you an item that gives you a 100% immunity to something? I guess there are no break skills in this game, so they thought that it would be a bit too overpowered to have an accessory that guarantees an elemental immunity. But anyway, with that done, I'm now going to end this part. Next I will venture into the Group Date Cafe, Stop 2. See you then.